welcome to the Voices Podcast. Yeah, the Voices Podcast.
You know, those kingdoms were well administrated. No one was out of the administration. Who they call Hutus or what, they were inside the administration. When you look at the Abiru, when you look at the chiefs, all of them were together.
So, Doctor,
and the identity at that time, before the colonization, was not Hutus and Tutsis. No. It was what we call Imiryango.
hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me once again at the Voices Podcast. My name is Arafat. Today I'm joined by someone who knows almost the entire history of Rwanda and Burundi, where it starting from colonization and kingdom to date. He is a former minister in Burundi, and today he lives in Rwanda as a refugee. But we want to talk about what is his plan when it comes to, his country, Burundi. And of course, looking at what is happening today, where Burundi is much involved in the DRC conflict, we want to talk about the history of these two countries in particular. That's where we want to dive into. We're not going into politics, but we're looking at where is the root cause of all the conflicts we're seeing between Rwanda and Burundi. Because Burundi insists that Rwanda wants to attack their country, but of course, I don't see that happening. Burundi is involved in the DRC conflict, supporting DRC, and of course, yesterday, we saw that M23, which is a rebel group that is fighting for their rights in DRC, mentioned that they have captured hundreds of, Burundian soldiers. So we're looking at this conflict, where it traces from to where it is today. Dr. Alphonse, thank you so much for joining us on the Voices Podcast.
Thank you to invite me. It's
How
very
is
interesting. Life is good.
You're doing
Very
well?
good. Yes, I'm doing well.
Doctor, I want us to really help us understand the history between Rwanda and Burundi, where it traces from, looking at where during the kingdom, during colonization, and today, because we are seeing that most of the time we see conflicts, small things happening between Rwanda and Burundi. And of course, Burundi now has sided with DRC conflict that is ongoing, where it's a DRC conflict, but now Burundi is coming in to support, which is something that almost East African countries are against. Where do we get this from? I mean, what is the history between Rwanda and Burundi?
Yeah, thank you. It's very, very interesting as a topic. What I have noticed that many intellectuals, many observers, many analysts, they don't talk about the root causes of this conflict. And as long as they don't really focus on the root causes, they will never get a solution. Because most of the time, when you don't have all the parameters of a conflict, you can't resolve a conflict. It's like a doctor who treats you with just medicine, painkillers, or what? And when you feel better, you say, okay, thank you, doctor. But you are not.
He has not treated the cause.
No. It will come back again. It's what we see in this conflict, which started a long time ago. So let's come back to the real history. You have to know about the causes of the conflict. The first thing you have to focus on is the Congo. What is the Congo? How and why was it created? From 1885, when those colonialist countries or nations met in Berlin, they have created the independent state of Congo. All of Africa, they were called colonies, but not the Congo. The Congo was called independent state of Congo. And who was the king? The king was Leopold II of Belgium. So that guy has two kingdoms under him. But what was the role given to him and the Congo by all those colonialist countries? Congo was given the role to be the best instrument for colonization in Africa. When you look around Congo, you can find that all those colonialists have countries under them, colonies. Congo was made by all the kingdoms, very big kingdoms, but they were destroyed. Some were divided. The bigger they were divided. The Bakongo were divided in three. There is Congo, a French Congo, Belgian Congo, Portuguese Congo. In Angola, there are Bakongo there. The Lunda, the Baluba, they were divided. You can find them in Angola, in Zambia, in Mozambique. So you can see that when you go around, you'll find in the northeast or northwest, Gabon, Centrafrique, which were French. Then you come to Sudan, which was English. Uganda, English. So Rwanda and Burundi became Germans, and Tanganyika, which became Tanzania, Germans, then English. Mozambique, Zambia, Mozambique Portuguese, Zambia, and Malawi, English. So you see all of them were around. Why they have accepted not to go into the Congo was that they have agreed that they create a Congo for the main objectives of the colonization.
It was their best.
Their best. Okay. That, I think, I have seen very few analysts talking about that. What's the role of the Congo for the colonialist? Why was it created like it was created in the middle of Africa?
Why? They wanted it as a base.
As a base for all what they have to do for them in Africa. And for many, many, many years. Because Europe can't survive. It can't survive without Africa. You have to know that. So that was very clear for them. But then came a problem called Rwanda and Burundi. Why Rwanda and Burundi became a problem? We know in the history we say that there is only one country which was not colonized, and it is Ethiopia. But what they don't know is that Burundi and Rwanda didn't become colonies as the other kingdoms around Congo who were totally destroyed. Those kingdoms who are now in Tanzania, who are now in Uganda, who are now in Centrafrique, and they were destroyed. You can't even remember the kings. But in Rwanda and Burundi, you can say the last king was named Kigeri The last king of Burundi was named Mwambutsa Ntare. So why? What this? It's because they have found two well-organized countries, two well-organized nations. And first of all, the Arab came. They wanted to take slaves. They couldn't, because they have been beaten by those two kingdoms. And then came the Germans. Here in Rwanda, it was kind of easy to get a treaty, because they have agreed, okay, you can be a protectorate, we will not invade you, we will not do like we have done the others, we accept that you are the king. In Rwanda, they came during a coup d'etat, the Ruchunchu coup d'etat, I think you know about that, to replace the king Kigeri Rwabugiri. And they went to the side of Yuhi, Musinga. That was very easy for them. But in Burundi, from 1898, they were in a war against Mwezi Gisabo and people of Burundi. From 1898, 96 till 1903. That's where they have signed a treaty, what they call Protectorate Treaty. He said, okay, we haven't been able to kill you. We see that you are strong. So what we want from you, because you can continue the war, we will protect you against those who want to withdraw you. We will protect you. That's what they sign, a protectorate. But the colonial objectives were still there. And I say those two countries are too strong for us now. What we will do is to implement a politic which will destroy them slowly, until when we will be satisfied and see that we can put down those countries. It is written. It's written in the book of Hans Meyer, Die Burundi. It's written in a book of Pierre Ryckmans, who is the representative of the Belgian kingdom in Burundi.
So the target, after they failed to colonize them, they went on to see how to discriminate and divide them so they can reach their target of ruling these two countries.
Yes.
Okay.
So the first step of dividing was to take some part of the kingdoms and to put them into the other countries. So that's why Rwanda has a part of Rwanda in DRC.
The Eastern DRC.
Kivu North.
Kivu North.
And in Burundi, we have a part of Burundi in the South Kivu. Most people, they don't know, but we have Burundi in Congo, who are citizens of Congo. In the east part of those two kingdoms, I think Burundi has suffered more, because in Rwanda they have taken the kingdom of Kisaka. But the king of Rwanda has reclaimed that it came back, and they have agreed. But for Burundi, they have taken a very big part of Burundi, bigger than the Burundi you know today.
Really?
Yes, because it goes till the Lake Victoria. Burundi was between Lake Victoria and Lake Tanganyika. The part we call the town is Ngara. It's called Bushubi in the ancient word of it, ancient name of that part. And then Rushubi, and then Buha.
That's in DRC.
No, in Tanganyika, in Tanzania.
In Tanzania, sorry.
Yeah, now it is in Tanzania. The first part was to divide those two countries, taking some Rwandese and some Burundians to become Tanzanians, to become Congolese.
So after that, where does the conflict between Rwanda and Burundi traces from?
It traces from the politics which has been built during the colonization. I see the first part is to divide those two countries, part of them in Congo, part of them, you know. The second step of this colonial politics was to create new identities. To create the new identities was to say that it can be possible that in Africa we can find kingdoms which are so organized that we can destroy them. It means that those who lead those countries, they really not are Africans. It's where they create the identity of Hamites and Bantus.
Saying that Tutsis are Hamites, and Hutus are Bantus. Okay.
Hey. And in the orientation, they said, for now, we can't beat those so-called Hamites. Let's deal with them, govern with them, but at the end, we will destroy them. It is written. It is written in the book of Hasmeyer, in the book of Pierre Ryckmans, Belgium, and in the book of Jean-Paul Harrois. So he has written two books. The first was Rwanda, the second was Burundi. That politics was conducted during those 50 years of colonization. They start by the administration. You know, those kingdoms were well administrated. No one was out of the administration. Who they call Hutus or what, they were inside the administration. When you look at the Abiru, when you look at the chiefs, all of them were together.
So, Doctor,
and the identity at that time, before the colonization, was not Hutus and Tutsis. No. It was what we call imiryango, what we call ubwoko nkomoko. That was your identity.
Doctor, I want us to move from colonization to after the independence. After the independence, how did the conflict intensify or continue to what we are seeing today?
You can't understand how it continued if you don't understand what happened between 1956 and 1962.
Okay, tell us more.
That period was really crucial for the future of those two countries and the future of this region. In 1956, they started to talk about the Hutu and Tutsi problem. Why? Because at that time in Africa, there was a movement for independence in many countries. Those who have been into schools were mostly Tutsis because of the colonization. And they were the ones to say, now it's time for us, as the others, to be independent. And the Belgians were, hey, say, how come? We have put you in schools and now you wanted us to leave. No. Then they changed and they started saying, those who were not sent to school by us, we will help them to be in power. And they started creating ethnic political parties in Burundi and in Rwanda. In Burundi in 1959, in Rwanda in 1959, they succeeded to throw out the king and to kill Tutsis and who have been refugees from that time. But in Burundi, the son of the king has seen already what the colonialists were going to do. And they say, no, in Burundi there is not a problem, Hutus and Tutsis. We are all Burundians, and we will get independence as Burundians. And it is what happened. His party, UPRONA, came victorious in the process of independence because they went into elections. The party which was backed by the colonialists, the group of parties which were backed by the colonialists, they were beaten. 18 September 1961. And UPRONA came victorious. So what they have done? And here also I want really that those analysts understand this, to be able to understand what is happening now. In those three countries, they were movement for independence. And those movements were really nationalist and Pan-Africanist. First of all, in Congo, there was a leader called Lumumba. Patrice Lumumba created a party for independence which was called Mouvement National Congolais, MNC Congo. In Rwanda, some leaders and the Mwami created what they called Union Nationale du Rwanda, which was nationalist and independentist. In Burundi, Prince Louis Rwagasore created a party which was called Union pour le Progrès National. You can find in those three names the word national. It was saying, we don't want you to divide us. We are a nation, Congo nation, Rwanda nation, Burundi nation. But what the colonialists have done was to kill the leaders
of those parties.
In Rwanda, they killed the Mwami Mutara Udahirwa. He was killed in 1958 in Burundi. In Congo, they killed Lumumba. After he was victorious in the elections in 1960. And they have gained independence in June 1960. In Burundi, only 3 weeks after his victory, Prince Louis Rwagasore was killed. So you understand that the colonialists, they have killed 3 leaders who were nationalists and Pan-Africanists, who wanted independence for their country. So they create, at that time, their puppets to be in power. to continue what? The
Their
role
discrimination.
of Congo. The role of Congo for them. That is what really we have to understand. Because they don't want nationalists leading in those three countries. Because if the nationalists lead in those three countries, the role of Congo will be for Africa and Africans. If the intellectuals of Congo, of Burundi and of Rwanda, they don't understand that, my friend, the war will continue. This situation of exploitation will continue.
Started a long time ago.
Yes. So now we can come directly to this situation. So
Let's
you
come
understand
directly to
that,
this situation.
first of all, the problem of geopolitics connected to the colonization program for this region. Two, the divide and rule, which is now in the hands of those puppets. For them to lead, they have to be backed by the colonialist for the division. I call them in Burundi Hutu and Tutsi because they had the ideology of working for Hutus or working for Tutsis. They don't understand that it comes from the colonization. Why did you agree to be called Hamites? Why did you agree to be called Bantus? But I can say to all of them, I am Bantu because I speak a language which is in the Bantu language only. Hamite, at the beginning, when they started, those researchers started to talk about the Hamite in Africa, it is in the Bible. In the Bible, they create three races. One race was from the history of Noah. You say that you pray and you read the Bible. You know the history of Noah. He had 3 sons. What they have written is that those 3 sons created the races. Japhet is the white races. Sem is the Asian race. Ham is the African race, black. So how did it came? And this I ask the historian, please, just explain us, Burundian, Rwandese, Congolese, how the term Hamite, at the beginning it was black races, and now it is only the Tutsis of Africa. How? Can you really explain scientifically how it became like that? All Africans should be Hamites if you agree that the 3 races.
If you agree with the Bible, actually.
Yeah. How did it came to be only Tutsis in this region? How? And you agree on that. I hear many politician guy talking about that and so on. They say, please, do you know what you are talking about?
So let's move to the current conflict.
This conflict, when there is a conflict, ethnic conflict in Rwanda, it affects necessarily Burundi because we are the same. So it started in 1959. There were refugees in this country around Rwanda. Rwandese refugees in Burundi, in DRC, in Uganda, in everywhere. When in 1965, then in 1972, there was an ethnic problem in Burundi, there were refugees, Hutus refugees in Rwanda, in Congo, in this region. So you have to understand that it's a succession of crises. As long as we don't find by ourselves the solution of that problem created by the colonialists, amplified by the geopolitical problems, we will not get solutions. That's the root cause of this. When we come back to what is happening now, in 1990, let's start at that moment. The refugees of Rwanda created and started a war to come back to the country. And it's their rights. They have to come back to their country. And they were able to lead Rwanda. But at the time, those who were in power now became refugees. In Burundi, in 1993, there were elections, which was, those elections, the Frodebo party, which was called the Hutu party, was able to get the victory in those elections. And we had a president called Melchior Ndadaye as a president. He was killed 3 months later because of that ethnic problem. Those who were in power at that moment were called Tutsi. And Ndadaye Melchior was the lead of the Frodebo, was called a Hutu president. But for me, he was a Burundian president. But as long as I say we haven't been able to resolve that ethnic problems, the false ethnic problems, we will remain in those cycle of violence.